Hello, this is Wright. I am here with you by video and I wish you the very best in the conference in California, Conference for Peace. I'm here in Vietnam with Veterans for Peace. We have a 40-member delegation here in Vietnam on an 18-day trip on Agent Orange and unexploded ordnance, and also on the whole issue of massacres. And as you know, that today was the 50th commemoration of the massacre, the My Lai massacre, in which U.S. military killed 504 civilians of the villages around My Lai. We've just been to some very, very moving ceremonies, as you can imagine here. It's been a very remarkable time where the Vietnamese pretty much forgive us for what we've done. How they can forgive us, I have no idea, with millions of people being killed here and wounded, and we've met many of them. This is a statue that's in the memorial area of the My Lai, and I'm showing you this because it does relate to Korea, and I'll talk about Korea in a few minutes, which is supposed to be my topic. But I think first we just need to talk about the agony of wars. And the agony of war that 50 years ago resulted in the deaths of these 504 civilians, including 173 children under the age of 15, and in fact 68 of them were under the age of 5. 68 under the age of 5 are soldiers killed. They killed 182 women, including 17 pregnant women. They killed 89 people that they call middle-aged, which would be under 60, and they killed 60 people over the age of 60. So the massacre of all of these people in a 4-hour period certainly lives in infamy for the United States. This is the giant statue that is in the My Lai village, and you see a woman holding a baby. You see a man or a woman lower in the left corner holding a man, and then the figures to the lower right are of a young boy that's covering the body of his brother that's going to be shot. And here's another shot of that. It's a very moving place, as you can imagine, and this is a video of, or this is a mural of the massacre, the My Lai massacre, and the blood dripping down from the mural. This mural was restored with funds that were raised by Veterans for Peace. Mike Hasty of Portland, Oregon was the spearhead for this, and it's a very moving testimonial to what happened in that village, and what happened all over Vietnam, and what happened all over Korea during the Korean War. In the 1950 to 1953, it was one of the most brutal wars going. The Korean War, the Koreans have acknowledged what their military did in Vietnam. In fact, this is a statue of dedicated to the victims of Korean massacres in Vietnam. There were over 300,000 South Koreans that came to fight with the Americans, and they too were perpetrators of violent crimes and massacres. And in the village of Ganjon in Jeju Island, our dear friend Father Moon has put a statue of a mother and child that is for the victims of South Korean brutality in Vietnam. So from Korea, now we look to Korea itself, and I'm going to talk a little bit about being on a mission in 2015. Women crossed the demilitarized zone, where 30 women from 15 countries went to Pyongyang on a mission saying, we want peace, and here's a beautiful view of the Boulevard of Reconciliation with 2 women holding hands over the boulevard, and one's from the north and one's from the south, and the orb that they have is of a unified Korea. So we were there with 5,000 women, North Korean women, who say, we want peace. We want peace. And indeed, 2 days later, we were in Kaesong with 2,000 Korean women who want peace. We had a symposium with women in Pyongyang. And granted, I mean, they were selected by the government to be representatives there, where they talked about what happened during the Korean War, how brutal the war was, how nothing was left standing in North Korea, essentially. It was the stated mission of the U.S. military to destroy as much of North Korea as they could. And there are documents that show that, and these women were telling us the stories of their parents and of them as young kids living through the horrific ordeal of that civil war. But prompted by the United States, and of course the brutality of the U.S. In documented massacres there too. I bring all of this up to say that, well, today we have some breakthroughs where we have the Kim Jong-un family, the sister of Kim Jong-un, having gone to the Olympics in South Korea, the first time a member of their family had been in South Korea since since it was divided. We now have the South Korean mission that's gone to North Korea, bringing back a letter, handwritten, I guess, from Kim Jong-un to President Trump, and President Trump in at least saying that he will meet with the leader of North Korea. Now, whether or not the war hawks in the administration will let him do this, I have no idea. I'm hoping they will. It is very important that we meet with the North Koreans, that we listen to their concerns, and their concern is we want a peace treaty. We want a peace treaty that can guarantee us our security so we will not need to have nuclear weapons, which are their defense mechanism against the United States, which continues to have as its goal regime change of the Korean government. And when we have military exercises where up to 300,000 South Korean and U.S. military are right on the DMZ, and we call these exercises decapitation, it gives them the signal that the United States is in for regime overthrow, and as Trump has said, the destruction of the regime and as much of North Korea as they want to. So there is a reason why the North Koreans have developed the nuclear weapons, which would be the reason why the U.S. would kind of back off. So I hope that President Trump does go to Korea. Or meets with the Korean leadership, where it is, who knows. But we are keeping our fingers crossed is what will happen, because these Korean women from North Korea need to be able to meet with their counterparts in South Korea. And in fact, in May of this year, our Women Cross the DMZ is hoping that we will be able to cross the DMZ, this time from south to north, and that there will be South Korean women that will be allowed by their government to go on this trip into North Korea. It seems more likely they will be able to do that than we, the U.S. women, will be able to accompany them, because now the Trump administration has put a requirement that U.S. citizens have to have a special validation passport in order to legally go into North Korea. Of course, without the permission of the U.S. government, now you could still go, but you're probably going to get fined and you may have a lawsuit against you. Not to say that that's going to stop anybody. It didn't stop you all when the same sorts of requirements were on for Cuba, and I don't think it'll stop us. So there's a lot to go talk about on both Vietnam and Korea. The Vietnamese have recovered from that horrific war in many ways, although Agent Orange still is a big problem. It's the fourth generation. And there are still people being injured and killed by the exploding ordnance. Let's just work hard to stop any attempt at a war that could devastate North Korea and leave the North Koreans in the same predicament as the Vietnamese have been. So with that, I'll stop, and I wish you all the very best in the conference, and wish you well, and keep working for peace. We are pleased to be with you. Thank you.